Am I the a-hole for canceling my credit card after my boyfriend refused to return it to me? I'll preface by saying that me, 27 female, and my boyfriend, 30, have been together for 3 years and a half. I've been jumping from one job to another, while he has been unemployed due to health issues that affected his performance at work. Usually, I'm the one handling rent, bills, groceries, etc. I use my credit card to make any purchase I want. Last week, my boyfriend out of nowhere asked for my credit card. I asked why, since I'm the one who handles payments and supermarket trips. He told me he wanted to buy some food and I agreed to let him take it but told him to return it later. He got back later and when I asked about my credit card, he was like, "What credit card?" I thought he was joking, so I told him to just give it back. He said to just keep it with him. I asked why and he said so he could start handling paying for stuff on my behalf. I felt uncomfortable and said I'd rather not burden him with his stuff and asked him to hand over the credit card. He refused and said that he'll just keep it, since it doesn't have that much money anyway. I was livid. I tried to argue but he told me to just trust him and let him keep it and swore he won't spend a penny from it. Next morning, I went and canceled it and then registered a new one. He must have had tried to use it because he called and was confused asking why the credit card was not valid anymore. I told him it's because I canceled it and registered a new one. He lost it and started scolding me, saying he couldn't believe I had this level of pettiness, and kept on about how I don't trust him with my finances, and how financially abusive I have become lately. I hung up on him. The argument continued at home and he called me paranoid and unreasonable and all that. Then he started cold-shouldering me and sulking about it for days. I do feel like I hurt his feelings and showed an amount of distrust towards him. Am I the a-hole for canceling the credit card? Adding in some info. Like I said, he has a physical disability that limits his opportunities for work. He receives no disability benefits because he doesn't want to. He refuses to acknowledge he has a disability and pretends that it doesn't exist at all. When I tell him to look for a job, he'd blame people for purposely refusing to employ him and say that they look down on him like he's lacking or beneath them. He comes from a humble background, no longer has contact with family due to abandonment issues but has some friends to lean on. Since someone asked, the answer is I do almost 80% of the chores while he does the other 20%. Reasons for that is his disability. Finally, I pay for rent, bills, groceries, his meds and transportation as well, so I needed a card to be constantly with me. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. He swore he won't spend a penny from it, followed by the next day must have had tried to use it. Your instincts were excellent, as was your decisive and immediate action. You know what he wanted was wrong. Trust yourself. This right here. Then has the nerve to say she's mistreating him financially. He's using her and leeching. Not the a-hole. Maybe time to cancel your boyfriend as well. I wish this forum wasn't so divorce happy because it really takes away from situation like this where the only reasonable answer is to actually break up. This would be such a deal breaker for me. To be fair, the can't work because disability but still refuses to acknowledge disability and gets benefits for it thing would have been a deal breaker for me in the first place. But taking your credit card and refusing to give it back when asked is so disrespectful I could never trust him again. If your marriage is in such a state that you have to turn here, it's almost always over anyway. Seriously, sometimes I may have issues with my partner but not to the level where I need a sanity check from strangers. The last time that happened with me, it was like, so my boyfriend blocked me in. Was it okay for me to yell at him to leave me alone? I don't want to be abusive. I was thankful that people in my life went, WTF, I didn't realize it was this bad. Sometimes people's sense of normal is broken down so bad. Also beware, since he isn't working, that means he can get to the mail first and take the replacement card when it arrives. This, and lock your credit files. He might be shadier than you think. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to defend my wife to my mom and telling my wife to get over it? We currently live with my mom and will be out as soon as possible. We had a baby and a couple setbacks, but this isn't working for anyone. In the past, I've always stood up for my wife when my mom was rude. Recently, my wife had a friend over and my mom was going on a date. He was waiting for her in the living room and I guess overheard my wife and her friend talking about how hot he was and really going on and on about it. Even as far as they want to go and smell his neck, and how was my mom even going to talk to him because they would just blank out and stare. He mentioned it to my mom while they were out, and my mom was angry the next morning. She yelled at my wife, called her creepy and jealous. My wife asked me if I was really going to let her yell. I said it is humiliating that their conflict stems from her talking about another guy like that, so why would I defend her? My mom did have an attitude, so I feel kind of bad. My wife then said my mom shouldn't have let him sleep over when we have a baby, and my mom doesn't really know him. And my mom lost it and was screaming, "Do you want to be on the streets? One more word and you are homeless." My wife turned to me crying and asked if I really wasn't going to do anything. I said I was embarrassed by what she said, and she's acting entitled when it is my mom's house. She called me a coward and ran off. She is now refusing to speak to me and telling people how I'm a mama's boy, which I think is unfair as we don't even get along anymore. But I don't see why I would stand up for her when she humiliated me with what she was saying. Not a-hole. Your wife is wrong here in every way. Your mother isn't obligated to change her social life just because you are all there. She's right. You are lucky she lets you live there. Adding 2 adults and a baby to her home can't be easy on her. Let's all call out that this all started with a wife and friend being creeps. There really isn't much to defend here. If someone is being a creep and gets called out for it, I'm not going to back them up. I'm going to call out the creepy behavior. The nature of the relationship doesn't change this. Yeah, society even gives women a pass for being creepy about attractive men, whereas it's more common to call out men who are being creepy about attractive women. It's definitely true that a man being creepy to a woman is more likely to cause bodily harm than a woman to a man, but both definitely need to be called out when they happen. I'm a woman, and imagining anyone other than an established partner, regardless of gender, talking about how hot I am and wanting to smell me? Big alarm bells. I'm surprised Opie's wife, as a woman who has presumably been creeped on by men in the past, didn't have more self-awareness. If my partner said this about someone else, my concern would be with them objectifying someone and being creepy, not about how embarrassed I am that they found someone other than me attractive. I wouldn't be backing up my partner either. So I don't agree with Opie's reasoning for not supporting their wife, but I agree with the end result. This is a major mess around and find out moment for Opie's wife. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to split rent with my boyfriend? I, female 23, have been dating my boyfriend Jake, male 23, since our freshman year of college. In our last year of undergrad, we decided to rent an apartment together. We split everything 50-50, including utilities, groceries, and rent. We continued living together in the same town as our college after graduation, but recently we both got jobs in Chicago and we are currently living downtown. My dad works in real estate, and he has multiple investment properties. My dad generously allowed me to live in one of his properties rent-free, but he said that my boyfriend would have to pay him $400 a month for rent. My dad is very protective, but he has been nothing but kind to my boyfriend. My dad's reasoning for making my boyfriend pay rent is that he wants to be sure that my boyfriend is with me for me, and not because he will have a free place to live. Keep in mind, if my dad was renting this apartment out to tenants, he would charge $2,100 a month for rent. Very ritzy building in the middle of downtown Chicago. My boyfriend is mad at me because he asked me for my half of the $400 for rent, and I explained to him that I will not be paying rent. My dad is only charging him. He says that we have been splitting rent for the past 2 years. So why would we stop now? Our rent in our college town was $1,200, so we were both paying $600 a month. Our apartment in Chicago is significantly nicer, and he is paying $200 less a month than what he was in college. Is the idea that my dad doesn't charge me for rent but charges my boyfriend so crazy? Should I suck it up and pay half because I can afford it? Edit. Jake and I still split utilities and groceries 50-50. And when we go out on date nights, we switch off who pays for it. If it pays 1 week, I'll pay the next. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Rent isn't $400. It's $2,100. Point out that if he wants to split rent, then do so by having your dad charge the full amount, which means his portion is $1,050. Pay your dad that, and dad can give it back to you or put it in an escrow to save for a future house. The $400 is a major discount for him, and dad lets you have it for free. This is exactly what I was thinking. The boyfriend thinks he is entitled to Opie's perks. He is the boyfriend, not even husband. He is not immediate family, and the dad is giving him a very good deal already. Don't expect wifey-level service at girlfriend prices. Not a hole. A nice ritzy building, check. Located in downtown, check. Only $400 a month, double check. Near your jobs? Check. Getting the family discount from girlfriend's dad? Check. What more does your boyfriend want? Clearly he's not seeing the bigger picture. He's getting a lot of perks because of you and he only has to pay a fraction of the rent. Doesn't he realize that millions don't have that luxury in these critical times of the economy? Plus, he's failing miserably with your dad's test. Your dad's suspicions are kinda right. Maybe dad is spot on with his reasoning. Not the holopi, but depending on how hard your boyfriend pushes, this should be a red flag. I think your dad just showed a lot of who Jake is. Explain that rent is $2,100 a month and he is expected to pay $400. You are paying $1,700, but you are receiving support from your family to do so. If he would like to split rent, he is welcome to pay $1,050. Your boyfriend is either 1. Greedy and disingenuous, or 2. Stupid. Either way is not attractive. I vote for this too. Giving him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he's really not aware how much rent costs in this area. But if he doubles down on splitting $400 rent, then I think he definitely failed Papa's test like a fool. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my child's mother I'm not interested in her problems? Our child is 3 and we have altering weeks. My mother and sisters help me with childcare when I'm working, and I know I'm very lucky for this. My ex has recently started complaining that she's having trouble with childcare. The cost has become unreasonable and our daughter is at an age now where she screams and cries when left with someone she doesn't know. And she can scream. My girl has a bright future as a tuba player because those lungs are powerful. I told my ex that my mom could watch our daughter for her, but she said she didn't want my family watching her daughter on her time. I figured that was the end of the conversation, but she brought it up again at the next swap. I asked her why she was telling me this, and she got offended. She said I should care about her struggle since it involves our daughter. I said it's not possible to sympathize with problems that have easy solutions. She wants to waste her money on babysitters our daughter hates. That's her choice. If it causes problems for her, those are her problems. If she doesn't want my help, which she doesn't, then there's no reason for us to discuss her problems, as nothing can come out of it. She said I was being an a-hole and she just wanted a sympathetic ear, that she needs to talk about her problems sometimes. I said that's what a therapist is for, or her friends or something. I'm not going to pretend to be interested in her problems. I don't like problems. I like solutions. She said that that's why our relationship ended, and I agreed that it was, and asked her why she expected me to do something for her now that we're broken up. Listen to problems without offering solutions, when I wouldn't even do that when we're together. She knows I'm only interested in solutions, not problems. Why was she expecting something else? My sister said it's important to have good communication with my child's mother and I should pretend to care even though I don't, just to keep that communication line open. She said it's only once a week, and saying, "I'm sorry, that sucks," costs me nothing, and takes less time than saying, "Your problems aren't real problems and I don't care," and start a fight. She might have a point. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I can't believe your ex is turning down free childcare. Unless your family is rude or mistreat her in some way. Some parents use an app for communication. Could be something to look into. My mom is always nice to her, and my ex really liked my mom before we broke up. For her, it's the principle of the thing. Like my family should only see our daughter on my time. Which, fine, but then figure out your own childcare, right? Is it possible that instead of wanting a sympathetic ear to listen, she actually wanted money out of the situation? Like she thought she can get you to pay for her childcare if she complains enough. Not the a-hole. She needs to move on and stop depending on you for emotional support. Divorce means the end of the relationship between you and her, as anything more than parents. We weren't married, but I completely agree with you. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not paying my niece's college tuition? 40-year-old male here. My niece Bryn recently started attending her second-choice college. And apparently, I'm a selfish a-hole for making it impossible for her to go to her dream school. Earlier this year, when Bryn got accepted to her dream school, the family had a little get-together to celebrate. While there, my sister, Bryn's mom, pulled me aside and asked if I would pay Bryn's tuition. The school is out of state, so it was going to be too expensive for my sister and brother-in-law, a little upwards of $50,000 per year. I said no. I'll admit that I felt terrible since we were at a gathering to celebrate her acceptance, and now she couldn't attend. But I was also blindsided because there had never been any mention before about me financing Bryn's college. My parents, sister, brother-in-law, and Bryn nagged me for months trying to change my mind, saying that Bryn is my only niece, and I should reward her for working so hard. She really is a great student, and I'm proud of her graduating on the honor roll. But I just don't think that means I need to spend $50,000 per year. I consider myself to be a pretty frugal guy, relative to what I make at least, and $50,000 is about what I spend annually for all my living expenses combined. I thought that by the time Bryn started at her current university, she would get over it and see that this school is great too. But I'm still getting the cold shoulder and snide remarks every time I go to my sister's or parents' house. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Everyone else involved is though. What kind of backward nonsense is that? You don't understand though. The family at the moment isn't allowed to say no. Wait a second. Why would there be any expectation for you to fund her education? It seems a little bizarre that out of nowhere you'd be asked to stump up $50,000 a year. I mean, if that's what happens, then definitely not the a-hole and your family's crazy. But I don't know. Something doesn't add up. Based on my experience of AITA questions, I assume that OP has no children, and therefore siblings that do see him as an ATM. OP is definitely not the a-hole here. You hit the nail on the head. Edit. Some people are asking why my sister thinks I would be able to pay for this. I make about $700,000 annually and have no children or wife. I've helped my family out of some rough spots before, $30,000 in medical debt, etc. I feel guilty because I probably got them accustomed to sudden favors when they needed it. As someone else stated, I became an ATM. But I think $50,000 every single year is different. Final edit. I will consider paying partial tuition. Earlier, I was thinking about paying for one of the 4 years. We'll see. Am I the a-hole for getting my boyfriend arrested? I'll just get straight to it. I'm a college student and this is my last semester until medical school. I've never been able to get a loan, so I've worked 5.5 years to get this degree because I have to pay out of pocket, so it takes way longer. I've worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs at a time and barely had a social life. For this upcoming semester, I reached my goal for tuition, so I quit one of my jobs so I could relax a bit. I was a server/bartender at 2 bars, and had an office job, so I always have cash hidden in my apartment in my closet in a box. And before the semester starts a week or 2 before, I deposit it so I can pay my tuition. My boyfriend sometimes stays over while I'm there or when I'm not. Since I've been saving for the semester, he is the only one who's been over. I've never told him about the box, but he knows I have to pay for school. Well, yesterday night, I got home to put money in the box because I was gonna deposit it today and it's all gone. I freaked out and tore my apartment up, thinking I put it somewhere else knowing I didn't. I called my boyfriend like crazy. No answer. I didn't sleep last night as I was panicking. Then this morning he finally calls me back. I'm yelling at him about my money and he's acting all confused and like I'm crazy. He comes over and I'm still angry. After a while, he finally admits he took it so he can borrow and that he'll pay me back. Where the heck is he gonna get $14,000 from in 2 weeks? I went into a rage and called the police and reported a theft because that is what he did. Well, it's been hours now, and I guess he got his phone called because his family has been blowing my phone up, and his mother has said some really hurtful and racist things to me. They've been harassing me for the past 6 hours now. It is stressing me out even more, and I hate that I'm feeling bad for him. But he stole my money that I've been saving for months. His brother did call and he was respectful and said they'll help him pay it back, and I should just go to the police station with him and tell them I want to drop the charges. But I really don't believe them. I could do that and never get my money back still. I don't know what to do, and I hate that I'm contemplating doing this. I'm just really angry and have been crying all freaking day. Now for the top comments. Do not drop the charges. $14,000 is a huge amount of money. His family are lying. They are not going to pay you back. Your boyfriend's first response was to lie. He only admitted a theft afterwards. They will take off and run, and you'll never see him or any of them ever again. Why would you drop the charges? He stole from you. He deserves to go to prison. Also, if you do drop the charges, it's possible that any insurance you have will be nullified. You might be able to borrow money from somewhere, but they would need to see evidence of your ability to save money. You'll need a police report number as part of this application. If his family are banging on about paying the money back, tell them that they can sell one of their cars ASAP and pay you back, as courts usually charge interest on money judgments. Not stay home. Not stay home. Break up. Press charges. Get your money. Stop keeping $14,000 in cash in your closet. I'm not saying she deserves it. She clearly doesn't. But it seems like an unnecessary risk with no upside. Not stay home. Very sorry that happened to you. You could tell them you'll drop the charges as soon as you get your $14,000 back. And then don't drop the charges. Just block them all and move on. Do not drop the charges. He stole from you and you have no guarantee that the money will come back. If his family really want to help, they can pay the money back to you so they can tell the judge he has made restitution for a better sentence. The trust in this relationship has gone out the door and it is over. Block his family on your phone. You do not need their abuse. Before you do, if you have any messages from them, save them and ask the police for an apprehended violence order to prevent them from mistreating and threatening you. This. OP, please pay attention to this. Also, I'm so sorry this happened to you. In addition to dealing with the police, etc., reach out to the administration at your school and let them know what happened. Hopefully, they'll be compassionate. And at the very least, defer your tuition payment date so you can start classes as planned without paying late fees on your tuition. Who knows, maybe there are scholarship dollars or a bursary they can help you out with. Also, I am so incredibly proud of you. Working your way through school like that is not easy. And you did it. I've already made an appointment with my advisor and financial aid for Monday. I'm hoping they don't drop my classes. Thank you for the kind words. It's been hard, but I know the end result will be worth it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my ex-wife spiteful, selfish jerk after she tried to convince me to sell our late son's apartment? I'm 54 male, my ex-wife is 52 female. We have been divorced for over 15 years. We had a son together, Michael, who passed away this May at 22 years old. He was a firefighter and died at a job. Michael's girlfriend, Ilhan, is 21 female and is pregnant, due in October. Her very conservative parents kicked her out for getting pregnant outside of their religion. My ex was never fond of Ilhan and very reluctantly agreed to share the cost of an apartment with me when I said we should help them out with a deposit and the first few payments for their own place. This was just weeks before Michael died. Ilhan stayed in the apartment after his death. I told her already I'd help out in any way I can. My ex approached me a few weeks ago and asked me to sell the apartment and get our money back. I told her Ilhan really needs it and deserves our help. We both have more than enough money. My ex asked me to sell many times in the past few weeks. Last week, we got into a fight about Michael's estate. She wants to sue Ilhan because she doesn't think she should get anything. She again asked me to sell the apartment. It's still in both our names. I told her I'll just pay her for her share of the apartment and let that be. She gets her money then. But she said she doesn't think Ilhan should have the apartment. I told her she's a spiteful and selfish a-hole who cares about the money, and not her daughter-in-law and grandkid who literally will never know his dad. She cried, called me an a-hole, and said I am insensitive about her loss. Not the a-hole. Morally, and I'd imagine legally, Michael's unborn child is entitled to Michael's estate over anyone else. The estate, yes, but the apartment is in my ex's name, so it's not part of the estate. Morally, it 100% belongs to Ilhan and the baby. Not stay home at all. You even offered to buy your ex out so you can protect your daughter-in-law and grandchild. If your ex doesn't take you up on that, it will be fairly obvious that is not actually about the money, but about your ex's prejudice towards Ilhan. Hasn't Ilhan been through enough? Kicked out of her family, lost her partner while she's pregnant. Now your ex wants her to be homeless? That's messed up. You are a wonderful father, and you are honoring your son's memory by helping out Ilhan. Not the a-hole in any way, shape, or form. I'm so sorry for your loss. I really hope that having Ilhan and your grandchild in your life will be a healing presence for you. Thank you. She's an amazing young woman, and I'm sure will be an exceptional mom to a lucky little one. And you, sir, will be a great grandfather to your grandson. He will grow up knowing that his grandfather will always have his back and protect him and his mother. He will love you and look up to you. Not the a-hole, brother. Your ex is either really going through it rough or they're truly awful. I hope it's the first one. I got no context for losing an adult child, but my intuition is that if I lost someone like that from my life, and the person they loved can still be in my life, I would take that opportunity all day and twice on Sundays. I would cherish it. Losing Michael was by far the worst experience of my life, and I can say with complete certainty that nothing will ever come close. Having Ilhan here, having had her support through this time, has been life-saving. And knowing that in a few months, a little bit of my Michael will come back to life, makes me completely smitten. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to put my fiancé on the house title after he kept handing me empty pens as a prank? I, female 34, have been with my fiancé, male 37, for 3 years. Getting married before the end of this year and recently moved in the house that I inherited from my mom. The house is in my name, and it took a lot of talking and convincing from him to have his name on the title as well. Now, honestly, part of me doesn't think this is a good idea, at least not right now. Maybe after marriage? But anyway, I've decided to go ahead and put his name on the title so he could go ahead and start contributing towards mortgage more and lighten my burden a little bit. We've made appointments, decided on which form of ownership we were basing this on. When it was time for me to sign the deed, my fiancé stopped me and gave me a pen saying this pen was his lucky pen and told me to use it to sign the deed. I took it and tried to sign, but turned out it was empty. He was like, "Oh, I must have forgotten," while laughing, and then pulled out his other lucky pen. I took it, tried to sign, and that one too was empty. Honestly, seeing how he was laughing, I figured he was messing with me, but he swore he wasn't, and pulled out another one of his lucky pens. I tried that one too, and it was empty. My fiancé started cackling, and I felt humiliated, especially with how the gentleman next to him was staring. I got angry and asked him what that was about, and he said it was a prank. I asked, "Really? Did you really think this was a time for pranks?" He was like, "It's all right. You can use a real pen now." I pushed the paper away and said, "You know what? Never mind, because I no longer want you on the deed." He lost it completely, saying we had a deal and I can't back out of it just like that, and that it was a stupid joke that I took too seriously. We had an argument and I refused to sign the deed, at least not then and there. At home, he blew up again, saying I was the one who delayed the process, and that he already gave me a real pen and all I had to do was sign the damn paper and get it over with. He accused me of looking for an excuse not to have him on the deed, and started a silent treatment saying there's nothing to say till those papers are signed. Did I really take this too seriously? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Red flags all over. 1. He pressured you into putting him on a deed? That's weird unless he has selfish motives. My husband literally suggested he not be on the title to my car to maybe help with the insurance costs. Because we're gonna be married anyway. Why does it matter? 2. He is very immature. You don't behave like that at a serious time like that. He wasted everyone's time. 3. He blew up at you for correctly chastising him instead of acknowledging his own fault and apologizing. 4. He's giving you the silent treatment, which is an extremely toxic thing in relationships, and yet again immature. 5. He's more interested in getting access to your property than how you felt in the situation. Hun, I implore you to not put him on the deed. And depending on if this behavior is normal for him, I'd give a long and hard thought on if this is really what you want for your future. Not to mention that he went out of his way to humiliate and belittle her publicly when it came time to signing. It wasn't just a prank. It was an extremely petty way for him to try and assert power over her and make her look and feel like the lesser person in the arrangement when she is, in fact, the opposite. This reminded me of my paternal grandfather. He would pull crap like this and act like it was funny. He was also an abusive a-hole to my grandmother, physically and verbally. He was always belittling her and treating her like she was stupid. She was miserable until she ended up in a nursing home after breaking her arm. She refused to cooperate with physical therapy because then she couldn't go home. She literally was happier there than living with him. Hope you don't end up like my grandma. Not the a-hole. You're the a-hole to yourself. He's gonna take half of your house when you break up. Don't do it. Agree. It's like you have a safe full of money in your house and he's asking you to hand over half. You're not even married and this was yours alone before you being a couple. This is not something you built together. It's yours. Don't do it. Yep, they shouldn't be signing a deed. They should be signing a prenup that says the house is hers and maybe they will share in any appreciation, since he will be financially invested. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to financially contribute to my boyfriend's home repairs even though I live with him? I, 25 female, live with my boyfriend, 28 male. I'm in grad school and work from home full-time. He works full-time. I make $60,000 a year. He makes $200,000 a year. We split bills 70-30. 20% of my income goes to paying for grad school since I have a bartending side gig that I use to cover the expenses of it. We moved in together into an apartment that we both chose, and things were fine. But then when the housing market started getting really bad, He got anxious about not having property in his name and bought one. I didn't really care since we're not married and he can do whatever he wants with his money. Forward a few months and our lease is ending and he waits until 3 days before to tell me we have to move out. They already leased our units because he didn't renew the lease, and we move into the townhouse he bought. I'm an avid DIYer, and my mom is a general contractor and previously an architectural engineer, so I've done tons of home improvement jobs at my mom's house and my childhood home on my own. Kitchen, bathroom, backyard, flooring renovations, etc. My boyfriend is now upset because I told him that not only will I not do any of that at his place, that is only in his name as it should be, I also won't financially contribute to renovations. It would be different if there was structural damage or things in need of fixing, but he just wants updates because the townhouse has all of the early 90s finishes. I have enough on my plate right now with both jobs, grad school, and hella debt. I'm not going to play Bob the Builder in my small amount of downtime, especially when I will never profit from it. He said I'm selfish, I don't care about him and has been acting weird since. Am I the a-hole? Edit. We split all bills 70-30. I pay 30% of every single bill, including mortgage, HOA, and property taxes, outside of grocery and pet care, which I pay 100% of. This doesn't include our personal bills such as car payments, /insurance, /health insurance, etc. I did consider marriage and a future together before the surprise move. Now I'm not as sure. I've told him that, and before we ever closed on a property, we discussed that I would not have anything to do with the rehab projects outside of recommending contractors and materials because I have too much on my plate. Half of his work time is spent golfing to network. I think this is the perfect time for him to learn a new skill himself. I didn't have a say in the location, style edge, anything regarding the townhouse. I don't consider it ours in any way, shape, or form. It's in a city where I'm an extreme minority. And I've already made it clear that I'm not willing to live here more than 2 years. Not stay home. He sprung a move on you with 3 days' notice? He's asking you to financially contribute to a property you don't have any stake in? He's calling you selfish when he makes triple your salary and you're in school and working full-time. Be careful, OP. Yeah, I've told my mom everything so that she knows if I ask for money to move out in the case of an emergency, we have a plan set up. I don't know. Ever since the last minute move out, I haven't trusted him very much. He claims he just forgot to renew the lease, and with the price hike our apartment did, it only made sense to move. I agreed at the moment because I didn't want to think about it and had exams, and it does save us both more money. But I would never agree to live with a man on a property they own in any other case. He claims he just forgot to renew the lease, but also was simultaneously purchasing a condo at the same time he was forgetting to renew the lease? It never once mentioned finding a lender, tracking down all his pay stubs for pre-approval, touring houses, putting in an offer, or scheduling an inspection? Girl, your mistrust is well placed. I don't know what his endgame is here, other than assuming he had a built-in free contractor, but I'm side-eyeing him hard. Not stay home. You have a ton on your plate already. And to be honest, it's his place. He could tell you to leave tomorrow and you'd be out the money and the work. Exactly. That's why I refuse to. With my mom's properties, it's different. I'm her only child and they'll be mine one day no matter what. And if we break up, I have a place to go live rent-free. But if I helped to the percent that he wanted, I wouldn't even be able to save any money. It would literally leave me with less than $250 a month to spend.